Hi, friends. Welcome back for another Sun, Moon, and Stars lesson. Today is day 3 of week 8. For today's lesson, you will need your thinking cap, your listening ears, a pencil, and your EL workbook. If you don't have your materials ready, just press pause, then press play when you're ready to learn. Okay, let's get started with some movement. We're going to revisit our moon movement chart this morning. Now, we've done this moon movement together many times. So I'm curious, do you think that you could do the moon movement without me guiding you? Okay. Today, while we do our moon movement, I will take myself off of the screen so that you can focus on your own movement. I will circle each of the movements to help you stay on track, and I'll read them aloud to you. Go ahead and find a safe place to stand where you have plenty of room. Number 1, stand with your feet apart. Stretch your arms down to the floor. Relax your neck and back. Number 2, slowly straighten up, keeping your arms by your side. Three, lift your right arm in line with your ear and slowly stretch sideways. 4, straighten up and lower your right arm by your side. 5, lift your left arm in line with your ear and slowly stretch sideways. 6, straighten up and slowly lower your left arm by your side. 7, lift both arms to form a circle above your head. 8, keep your arms in a circle and slowly arch your back. 9, keep your arms in a circle and slowly stretch forward. 10, straighten up with your arms above your head. 'Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. And come back to a seated position ready to learn. Hopefully your body and your mind are awake and ready now. Let's read our learning target. Today's learning target says, I can use frequently occurring adjectives and prepositions in a personal narrative about integrity. Let's read that again. I can use frequently occurring adjectives and prepositions in a personal narrative about integrity. There are so many big words in this target, so let's unpack it together. The first two words that I want you to look at are frequently occurring. When something is frequently occurring, it means that we're seeing it often. Now, we know adjectives are words that describe nouns, and prepositions are words that describe a location or place of something. So today, we're going to use frequently occurring adjectives and prepositions that we see often. Now, where are we going to use those prepositions and adjectives? Well, we're going to use them in a personal narrative. A personal narrative is just a story about you. So today you're writing a story about you. And when you write that story, you're going to use prepositions and adjectives. The last word that I want you to see is integrity. This is one of those habits of character that we've talked about in this module. Today, at the end of our lesson, when it's time for you to write your personal narrative, it'll focus on the habit of character, integrity. Before we jump into writing that personal narrative or that story, we're going to need to review some of these things. Let's start by reviewing adjectives. Remind me, what is an adjective? That's right, an adjective describes a person, place, or thing. Last time, when we were discussing adjectives, we focused on this poem. The poem is called What We See, the Sun, Moon, and Stars. Remember, we read the poem and then we went on a big hunt trying to find all of the adjectives? Nod your head if you remember that. Yes. And today we're going to read the poem again, and then we're going to hunt for adjectives. Today, let's read that poem together instead of doing an echo response. Okay, your thinking cap is on. Are you ready to read the poem with me? I'll keep my mouse beside the lines that you know where we are. In the morning, when the day has begun, I see around an orange rising sun. During midday, I shade my eyes because the sun looks large, yellow, and bright. By evening time, though the day is not over yet, the sun looks red and fiery as it sinks below the horizon to set. The moon can look different from night to night. Sometimes it is thin and dim. Sometimes it is big and bright. From crescent moon to gibbous moon, it waxes and wanes. Each night, the shape of the moon seems to change. The moon can look white or yellow or gray. Its colors can change in a number of ways. At night, the stars shine and look so bright. They are tiny and twinkly and give off some light. They are far, far away and so very high. The sun, moon, and stars can look different in many ways. It makes them interesting to observe in a deep gaze. Good job trying to read that poem with me. I was reading in a fluent way. When we're reading, we like to say fluent, meaning that we're staying kind of like a river and we're not stopping or making it sound too choppy. Okay, we've read our poem together. Now let's hunt for some adjectives. Do you see any adjectives in there? Oh, I know one. Round. That's describing the sun. Now it's your turn. Share with me an adjective that you see. Good. Okay, now it's my turn. let's see, I see, oh, this one, thin. And that's describing the moon. Okay, now it's your turn. Find an adjective and tell me what it's describing. Good job. Now, last time we read this poem, we found all of the adjectives. So, on the count of 3, can you snap or clap with me and we'll magically show all of the adjectives together. 1, 2, 3. There they are. There's all the adjectives that we found last time. Remember, these are words that are describing nouns. And in this poem, they're describing the sun, moon, and stars. You're going to need to use adjectives today when you are doing your personal narrative. Okay, we've worked on our adjectives. Now let's review our prepositions. Prepositions tell us where something is. Last time we read this poem, we went through and we found all of the prepositions. We're going to read the poem together, and then we'll go on a little hunt. I'll keep my mouse beside the lines so that you can help keep track of where you are. Where are they? The sun, moon, and stars. Look up in the sky. What do you see? Depending on when, the sun, moon, or stars shine brightly. As the sun rises, it appears just above the horizon, beginning to shine its light for everyone. As the sun sets and the day comes to a close, it appears to sink below the horizon. Behind the hill it glows. Nighttime arrives, and the moon is up in the sky, seeming to be on top of buildings and treetops. It is very, very high. Appearing beside the moon in the sky at night, we can see stars twinkling and glowing, shining their light. Okay, do you see any prepositions in our poem? Oh, I found one. On, let's see, where was the one on? There it is. To be on top of buildings and treetops. On top of. And that's describing the moon. Okay, now it's your turn. Do you see a preposition in there? Go ahead and share with me. What preposition do you see? Good. Okay, now it's my turn. Let's see. Oh, here's one. Behind. It appears to sink below the horizon. Behind the hill it glows. And that's describing the sun. Now it's your turn. What preposition do you see? Good. Now remember, last time we read this poem all together in a previous lesson, we found every single preposition. Let's count to 3 and make them all appear. 1, 2, 3. There they are. There are prepositions. Like our learning target told us, we're going to have to use some prepositions in our writing today. So we'll need to remember what a preposition is. It's a word that tells place or where something is. Now, we have been talking about prepositions and adjectives and patterns, but we've also been talking about habits of character. We've discussed respect, and in this specific unit, we've discussed integrity. Can you read that word with me? Integrity. This is something that you've worked on in your day 2 and 4 lessons with your teacher. If you haven't gotten there yet or you don't remember, integrity is when I do the right thing even when it's hard. I do the right thing even when it's hard. Can you repeat that back to me? Integrity is when I Good. It's when I do the right thing, even when it's hard. I know that you show integrity all the time. Let's think of some examples of when we have shown integrity during this unit of learning, or maybe just during this year. Think for a minute. How have you shown integrity throughout this unit? I'll give you some moments to think. Maybe you've shown integrity by really trying your best to pay attention during Zoom meetings, even when your Zoom connection starts to get a little fuzzy. You're trying to do the right thing even when it's hard. Maybe you are doing your learning by yourself, independently, and it's hard to focus when there's so many other things around you, but you are really trying to do the right thing, even when it's hard. Can you think of a time that you've shown integrity? Go ahead and share that with me. Pause the video if you need more time. Good. Now you're going to take that memory of that time when you have shown integrity, and you're going to write a personal narrative about it. Let's say you had some friends that were playing and they weren't on their best behavior, but you were trying to do the right thing even when it was hard. You can write about that memory, and when you're writing, you're going to use as many prepositions and adjectives as you can. You're going to describe what happened and where it happened. Let's look at your independent work for today. You will create an integrity story where you will draw a picture and write about a time where you showed integrity in your life, either at home or in school. Use adjectives and prepositions as you write. Now, in our EL workbook, there is not an integrity paper, but if you look at the back of your workbook, I think it's the very last few pages. So let's see if I can find it in my workbook. Here we are. It says notes at the top. This is a great place for you to write your integrity story. Of course, you might have to draw your picture on top of the lines at the top, but that's okay. Then you can fill up the rest of the lines with your integrity story. Remember, you are going to write a lot of words, which means you can use more than one page, okay? You're going to think about your time that you showed integrity. And if you're kind of stuck and you just can't think of a time when you showed integrity, ask a grown-up around you to help. Or you can use my example of learning at home on the computer, or maybe when you were on a Zoom and you were trying really hard to focus. As you're writing about that time when you showed integrity, use adjectives to describe what was happening, and use prepositions to describe where you were and what was going on. Make sure that you're spelling the word integrity correctly. It's on the screen, so I know that you can spell it correctly. Now, once we start writing, sometimes our brains forget. We forget what to do, or we forget, well, what is an adjective? Or I don't remember my prepositions. So I have a little resource to help you out. On this page, I have listed out our anchor charts for prepositions and adjectives. Here's my suggestion. Get out your EL workbook on your notes page and pause the video so that you can see these charts. As you're writing about your integrity story, stop to think, okay, which adjectives could I use? Or maybe you just need the definition of an adjective to remind your brain. Or what prepositions can I use? Or I don't remember what a preposition is, so I'm going to use this definition to remind my brain. These charts are resources for you to use when you're writing your story. Now, once you are done writing, you need to go back and ask yourself, did I write about a time when I showed integrity? Did I use adjectives? Did I use prepositions? Does my story make sense? And then, of course, it's always good to share your writing with others. Ask a grown-up if you can read your integrity story to them. When it's time for you to write, you can always rewind our video so that you can see the instructions. Or you can stop on this page so that you can see our resources or our charts. Show me a thumbs up if you understand what you're going to be doing when you're writing about your integrity story. Good deal. Today's learning target said, I can use frequently occurring adjectives and prepositions, those are the ones on the chart, in a personal narrative, that's a story about you, about integrity. That's when you do the right thing even when it's hard. Check. Once you've completed your writing in your workbook or on a blank piece of paper, if you don't have your workbook, you can officially check this learning target off. Good luck writing about that time when you showed integrity. I'll see you next time, friends. Bye.